Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. We're going to look at another cataclysmically bad idea from this joke of a government. In order to try and solve one problem, they're going to create another problem that's actually way worse than the problem they're trying to solve. It's a problem that they're going to create that will have ramifications that will last generations, that will be utterly, utterly destructive to the native people of this country, that will make housing all but impossible, that will raise rents beyond belief, that will ensure that families who need to be homed cannot be homed, and will shift public money to private ownership at rates hitherto unseen. It is possibly the worst idea that this terrible government has come up with so far, because I'm sure they're working on others. What we're looking at here is the fact that the Labour government now is willing to pay private landlords to rent their houses to illegal immigrants. They're doing it through Serco, which is a private company that they're hiring and paying the money to. Now, the deal, if you're a private landlord, is unbelievably good. They want you to basically, you rent your house to Serco, who then sublet it. And they sublet it to tenants who are illegal immigrants. But effectively, the government is going to guarantee the rent. So what happens is Serco become the tenant, as it were, to the landlord and guarantee 5 years rent, guarantee all maintenance issues will be resolved. It's up to Serco to fix things, not the landlord. Currently, of course, the landlord would be responsible for fixing things at his expense. Well, no, now anything that gets broken, Serco will fix and then claim that money back off the government, off the taxpayer. Like I say, they guarantee it for 5 years. They arrange that each year the rent increases in line with inflation. And it divests the owners of the property of all responsibilities other than collecting the rent. And so if the law, for example, changes and, you must make this house upgradable to a new level of energy efficiency, Serco will pay for that. In other words, the taxpayer will pay for that. And so at the end of 5 years, the landlord gets the house back, and it may well have had thousands upon thousands of pounds worth of repairs and improvements and things, all paid for, not by the landlord out of his profits, but by the taxpayer. Does that sound like a good deal? Well, the principle is that it's cheaper to pay to put illegal immigrants into private homes like that than it is to keep them in the hotels. And so it could be argued that, yes, the taxpayer is getting a better deal in total, but is the taxpayer getting a better deal? Because we're only looking at the houses that are available now. Here's the thing, and this is why it's such what I consider to be the most awful idea. Firstly, it means all these landlords are going to be preferential to renting to Serco. They know they're guaranteed their rents. They are no longer responsible for maintenance. It's an excellent deal. Let's rent all these houses to Serco. And so anybody who actually needs to go and rent a house, well, there won't be any available, will there? There won't be any houses available because they'll all have been rented out to illegal immigrants. And then we look at the next problem. Even then, the few houses that do come up that are available will have so many people looking for them that the rents will rise. The landlords can say, well, this was up for £1,000. Actually, I'm going to charge you £1,500 a month now. I've got so many issues, I didn't realise it was so popular. I'm going to charge £1,500 a month. And somebody will pay £1,500 a month for it. And the landlords are rubbing their little hands together. Thank you very much. Now, you can't blame the landlords for this. Like anything else, if there's a demand, you put the prices up. Just think of all those fools who pay £1,500 for an iPhone when they're made in China by slave labour for about a tenner. Really, that's how much they cost. So people are willing to pay it. They're willing to pay it regardless, aren't they? But, is that bad? Is that terrible? Yes, all that's terrible, but it's going to get worse. And why is it going to get worse, I hear you ask? Well, here's the thing. If you've got all this money coming in and you've got nothing going out and you've got a guaranteed 5-year income from the government and you've got, a little bit of money left, what are you going to do? You're going to see if I can buy another property, and then you're going to rent that out to Serco. And then you've got 2 of them coming, and then you're going to rent another one out, and you're going to buy another one. And so all of a sudden, all the low-cost housing, all these ones at the bottom, they're all going to be hoovered up by people going back into the landlord game. But none of those houses will be available for the people of Britain. They're all going to be shifted across into illegal immigrant housing, where the money is good and guaranteed and there are no overheads. And so within a very short period of time, not only will there be no rental properties available for the people of this country, all the low-cost housing will have gone as well. Now, we're not talking the social housing here, but we're talking the bottom end of the market of normal homes and houses and flats and things. They're all going to be hoovered up by people going in to become landlords at the public expense. And there'll come a point where the cost savings from hotels will then be less than the cost to the government, thus the taxpayer, of all these rental properties, all going into the hands of private individuals who are all sitting back going, la-di-da, look at me, aren't I rich? Let me pick up What Yacht magazine as they're flicking through it. Madness, isn't it? Now, the government say it costs about £140 a day to keep a migrant in a hotel. I honestly can't see how, but there we go. That's what they say. But they say it's going to average out at £14 a day to put a migrant into a house. So if you've got a 3-bed house and you can put in 6 people, I mean, that's nearly £100 a day. Nearly £100 a day per landlord. £700 a week. £35,000 a year for a landlord. Per house. All they're going to do is go, house, 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 house. They'll be millionaires in no time. All paid for by the taxpayer. With no private rental available for the people of Britain. No emergency homes for people who suddenly find that they need to be there. Families breaking up. Daddy will be sleeping on the streets. Mummy will be sleeping who knows where. And when the houses need all to be returned eventually in 5 years, or another 5-year contract gets put in place, whatever, these houses aren't going to be shifting back into private ownership or anything. They're not going to be all sold off, are they? Because those landlords now have got those houses, and with all that extra rent, will probably have paid them all off in cash. They'll just carry on renting them out. But they'll be renting them out at the higher rate of rent that they've agreed with the government. Rents will never go down. That will be the new norm, and it will be incredibly high. What you've got here with this, and this is the Labour Party, of course, what you've got is a complete seismic shift in housing policy that is utterly destructive and that has basically screwed over the people of this country at the expense of the foreigners coming here, that this government refuses to stop. Tell me your views. I'd love to read the comments. Thank you very much.